Law Talk with Nick Maruchak. Thanks to MKI Legal, your trusted employment and family lawyers.
I fought the law and the law won. I fought the law and the law won.
Yeah, I wonder if the law always wins. It didn't in the case of the Paddy Hannon vandal, because it turns out that they've dropped the charges on the basis that they cannot be convinced that he was the one that did the most damage. That was an interesting court case up in Kalgoorlie. Nick Maruchak was probably listening into that from MKI Legal, and he joins me on the, not on the line, what am I saying? He's right there in front of me. Hello, mate.
Hello, Gary.
And look, you did very well last week when we were at the Royal Show, and suddenly the lines went down, the system had a gremlin in it, and you managed to do it old school, just on the end of a phone.
Yeah, no, it was it worked out well in the end.
Good experience, isn't it? All right, we'll come back to Paddy Hannon in a minute. Hey, Clayton's on the line. He wants to ask you a question about power of attorney. And just a reminder, 133 882, if anyone would like to call through with any legal queries, Nick's right here. G'day, Clayton.
G'day, Gary. Hi, Nick. How you going?
Good.
Good. Yeah, just got a friend of mine who's in a situation where he's signed over power of attorney and power of guardianship. Is there any way he can reverse that?
Yes. So does he or she still have mental capacity? They can make decisions for themselves?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. So you just rip it up, destroy it if you have the original. Do you know if he has the original, or is it in the hands of the...
I'm not sure. I can find out, though. Yeah.
Because the original is normally required when you go to a bank. They want to see the original copy. Then you also want to send notice to the person you've appointed to let them know it's been revoked. That's the second thing you can do. If he or she doesn't have mental capacity, then what happens is he or she can't reverse it. So there is another process where you can go to the State Administrative Tribunal. A person who has got an interest in the matter can apply, and the tribunal can do a number of things. They can require the person who's been appointed to produce records to make sure nothing dodgy has happened, and they can also revoke or vary the terms of the power of attorney. So the State Administrative Tribunal is there as a method that governs people.
Okay.
So,
hey, Clayton, so I'm just trying to figure out in my mind, though, if the person who's handed over the power of attorney, etc., is that like a long time ago or very recently?
Oh, maybe 18 months ago, in a time of weakness, I guess, when they weren't feeling all that well, and they were told that, they needed someone to take over the responsibility of their assets, etc.
Right.
But now find out that wasn't and is not the case.
Right. And in that instance, do they themselves have concerns about what they've done?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Right.
Yes, they'd like to reverse it, yes. And that's why they're so strong on this, that, they've done a silly thing and they wish to reverse it because they feel that they're certainly well and truly able to look after and care for themselves.
So I think, Nick, you're saying that if they've got the capacity to do so, then it is literally a simple, it is fair, because I always sort of had a sense that if it's lodged somewhere when you've declared who you...
Yes.
And so therefore, if it's lodged somewhere, how do you just rip it up? Or do you have to notify?
So a classic place to lodge it is at Landgate. So Landgate has, if you want to sell land or deal with land with a power of attorney, you have to register it with Landgate. Yeah. And there's also a time limit on when to register it. I believe it's a couple of months after it's signed. So if it's been registered at Landgate, you want to go to Landgate and remove that and file a form to remove that.
Or change.
But then you want to notify any other organisations such as banks who have it that it's been cancelled. But just to revoke it, it's the person who made it just revokes it in writing and gives notice.
Have they lodged it anywhere, do you know, Clayton, or are you going to have to find out?
I'm not sure. I need to find out. Right. Do they, as an individual, not need to prove to a medical practitioner that they are of sound mind?
No.
Okay.
But sometimes what happens is if they revoke it, they put in writing and later there's an argument whether they were in sound mind or not. Yeah. Then when you go to the State Administrative Tribunal, SAT will make a decision whether that person had mental capacity or not. If they didn't have mental capacity, then the revocation doesn't have any effect.
I reckon, Clayton, the question is, if that person that you're talking about decides to revoke, reverse, whatever, who they've given power of attorney to, do you expect that to be challenged, mate?
Oh,
and can it be challenged, Nick? What do you think? Could it be challenged? If I've been given power of attorney and then all of a sudden, it's handed over to someone else in my family because of a decision, can I actually query that or not?
So if you've been appointed, and so you can say that the person who revoked it doesn't have mental capacity.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, because the power of attorney is, once it's made, it's an enduring power of attorney. So it survives mental incapacity. So and then the people that are appointed have to act. You have to act in the role unless you get permission from SAT to step down. So once they lost mental capacity, they can't revoke it. So that's one argument you have, and that's why you have to go to SAT. You have to bring medical evidence in and get evidence from an expert to decide whether that person had mental capacity or not.
So that's the key thing, mental capacity. All right, Clayton, well, you know better than us. We'll leave you with it to try and work through it.
You're doing well. Thank you, Gary. Thank you, Nick. Have a good day.
Okay, 133 882. Yeah, interesting one, isn't it? So I suppose if you make a decision to who you're handing your enduring power of attorney to, and then you change your mind.
I always recommend to clients, hold on to the original, right? Tell the person you've appointed them, leave it at your house, tell them where it is, leave it in a filing cabinet. If something happens to you, they know where it is. They can get a locksmith to open it and grab it. Right. But keep the original in your possession, because an enduring power of attorney, they can still use it even if you haven't lost mental capacity. So if you go on holiday, you can give it to your son, your daughter. They'll use it. And then when you get back, grab it back off them. Right. But hold on to the original. Same with wills as well.
Interesting. All right, thanks for that, Clayton. And 133 882, Nick Maruchak from MKI Legal in the studio. We've got plenty of time for your calls. 133 882. Give us a bell. Have a chat to Nick about any issues you might have. Back soon.
Law Talk with Nick Maruchak. Thanks to MKI Legal, your trusted employment and family lawyers.
Alrighty, 133 882. We've still got time for some calls. If you'd like to speak to Nick Maruchak, give us a call now. It might be something that's going on in your life that you just want that little bit of advice to get through with, and it may even save you money, of course. Now, Jeanette's got an interesting question. G'day, Jeanette.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good. My question's about someone who's listed as a next of kin when you're in hospital. What power or right does that give them to anything?
So who is this next of kin that's been listed?
Oh, well, it's my mum was in hospital, was gone to hospital, and a friend had driven her to hospital. And while he was there, he listed himself as the next of kin. Mm-hmm. So I just thought, that doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right.
No, it doesn't. So is your friend able to make medical decisions for themselves? Do they have mental capacity to decide? Sorry, your mum.
My mum, yeah, she does. Yeah.
She does?
Yes, she does.
If your mum has full mental capacity, then the medical doctors will speak to your mum and your mum will make the decisions, right? So next of kin won't really have any power in that situation. The next of kin...
Right. And what about if something happened to her? Say she passed away in hospital, he would be contacted, wouldn't he, instead of the family?
Yeah, so this is your mum's friend that put their name down. So the doctors may consult with the next of kin about the treatment. So the next of kin may have some influence in that situation, and the next of kin may also be updated about the medical treatment as well. But normally, so in these situations, it's an enduring power of guardianship is a document that gives someone the power to make medical decisions on your behalf.
Yeah.
So that's
I think my sister's trying to get that made up for herself to be the enduring power of guardian. Yeah. Well, my mum doesn't really want to go ahead with that yet.
Yeah, and next of kin is sorry.
I was going to say, Jeanette, just quickly, that was that a one-off hospital trip, or is there more, or they often happen, or?
Well, I was going with my mum at one stage, and when I saw his name there, I said, no, that's not right. And they put my name down. And then the next time he took her again, and he put his name back down again. So I thought, what is going on here? Why does he really want to be next to kin? I don't get it.
Yeah. So hopefully it's an administrative error, but normally the next of kin will be, there's a hierarchy generally, and the hierarchy will be first the spouse, the de facto partner, husband and wife, then adult children. So that's kind of that's the order that hospitals take. That's the order that's, for example, in the Coroner's Act. So that's a friend wouldn't normally have that position unless they're a carer. So someone in a carer position might have that. And the hospital staff, if hospital staff will only really speak to the next of kin if the patient can't make decisions, but the hospital staff will have to make treatment decisions for the best interest of the patient, right? So that's the first priority.
Yeah.
Did your mum know?
Yeah.
Does your mum know that that's what's been happening?
Yeah, she does.
All
Yeah,
right,
and she said, "Oh well, he she said he sort of feels good about putting himself down there. I don't, she doesn't care. She doesn't understand. I don't think.
Right. Okay.
I don't know. I just think if something happened to Mum and
At that moment,
they had to say had to release her property. Is it the next of kin that release the property too?
Yeah, the next of kin will be the person they will liaise with, they will contact with. So I think have your mum change the hospital records to make the children the next of kin. So that would be or a husband if he's still alive, or partner.
Yeah.
So that's what I would do, because the next of kin is involved in. They are consulted. If your mum can't make decisions for herself.
So I'm just checking here. The person that's driven your mum, are they the partner of your mum?
No, it's just a friend.
Just
a friend of my nephew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
And look, a next of kin doesn't automatically get decision-making power. They're more consulted, right? And the best power is enduring power of guardianship. That is the real key here that proves that you have that power.
So you sort of have to bridge it, I suppose, with your mum at some point to say, look, next time, regardless of who's taken you to hospital, you need to put down your own children as your next of kin, because that's the way it is, I suppose. And if she's prepared to understand and appreciate that, then it should be all right. Thanks for that, Jeanette. Interesting one. Let's go to Wuri. G'day, Wuri.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, my name is Woody. Thank you for taking my call.
No problem. How can we help?
It's just trying to ask for someone regarding a married couples, and they got a house, a mortgage, and the wife left the house, but before that she has nothing to pay for the house. She never pay, and she has she never pay anything, and her name is not in the title of the house. And now she came back. Is she entitled of anything in case they sell the house, or what they're going to do then?
Yeah, so
they're going to separate or divorce.
So just worry to confirm, the wife is not on the title, right?
Yes.
So just the husband, and they're married, right? They're married. Yeah. So, and do you know how long they've been together for, approximately?
Almost 20 years.
Okay. So if they haven't been divorced, yes, the wife will have an entitlement to the house. And in fact, the wife will have entitlement to all the assets of the marriage. So what the court does is the family court will look at the entire assets of the relationship and make a decision what percentage each person gets. And it's based on how long the marriage is, how much property they brought into the relationship, raising kids, all these stuff, and health of the parties. A bunch of factors are taken into account to decide what's a fair split. Now, longer relationships tend to be along the lines of 50-50, but sometimes they can be skewed to like 60-40 to one person. But it depends. Sometimes, say if the wife did nothing to contribute, and say she lived overseas the entire 20 years of the relationship, never did anything, and then suddenly comes back and wants half, court's probably not going to give a half, right? Because they're going to look at how much you contributed to this joint endeavor of marriage to make a decision what's a fair division of assets. But if she
worry, so
yep.
I'm sort of picking up the message. Has the wife returned to the marital home? Has she?
Yes, but she's there, but the man, because she went and lived with another man for 1 month, and the guy got upset and say,
all right. So, now what happens?
All right.
Here we go. So there was a relationship breakdown and another person involved, and then returning to the marriage.
Okay. So there's two things going on. One is that, look, it's they're still married, right? So
Yes.
to end the relationship, you have to get divorced, and you have to be divorced for 12 months because the deadline to make an application to get money from the relationship is 12 months after divorce. Right. So she's entitled to that. But the second question here is the husband's name is on the title, right? So I know there's some family court decisions that say he can just change the locks and kick her out, right? As cruel as that sounds, he has the right to just change the locks and she can't come into the house. That's why it's really important to have your name on the title. Now, the wife could go to the family court and say, hey, it's unfair. I want to go back to the house. And the court could make an injunction, which is basically a court order giving her the right to live in the house. But the starting position is, if your name is solely on the title and you get separated and you want to do this, you can exclude your partner from the house and just kick him out.
You need to tell him to take some further advice on that. But it sounds like it's a possibility given that she left the relationship. The allegation is that she's had an affair and now trying to return back to claim assets.
She can still claim the assets and she can go through family court and get division, but where does she live in the meantime? Right. And sometimes that can be an unfair situation, and I acknowledge that, and that's why the family court will go, look, it's really unfair. You're just kicking this person out. We're going to make court orders to make it equitable. But the starting position is, that sole title.
All right, we have to leave it there, but you just, look, can I just say this, if you don't mind me?
Please do.
It sounds like before you do anything, your friend needs to get some sit-down legal advice on where they stand, but they may have a case in terms of the old locking the
but that's temporary.
All right. Some curly ones there, Nick, but thanks very much for going through them with us. All very sort of personal relationship stuff. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, Gary.
It's 4 minutes to 11.